Hello and welcome to Bible Study with Alice, and today we're on day 83, Psalm 83 of our daily psalm reading. We are reading from the ESV translation, but you're more than welcome to join us from a different translation. As you can see, we are on Psalm 83. These videos are filmed in real time. Today's date is the 25th of January 25 and it's a Saturday. There is a disclaimer as usual, and that is one, these videos are unedited and also probably stumble my wording. Let's get started. O God, do not keep silence, a song, a psalm of Asper. O God, do not keep silent, do not hold your peace, or be still, O God. For behold your enemies, making up war, those who hate you have raised their heads, they lay crafty plans against your people. They consult together against your treasured ones. They say, come, let us wipe them out as a nation. Let the name of Israel be remembered no more. For they conspire with one accord against you. They make covenant, the tent of Edom and the Ashmalites, Moab and Hagrites, Gebal and Ammon and Amalek, Philistia, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Asher also has joined them. They are the strong army of the children of Lot, Salam. Do to them as you did to Midian, as to Sierra and Jebin at the river of Kishon, who were destroyed at Endor, who became during the ground. Make their nobles like Orab and Zead, all their princes like Zebha and Zalmunna. That's how you pronounce it. I really am struggling with these biblical names. I do apologise. Who said, let us take possession for ourselves of the pastures of God. O my God, make them like whirling dust, like chaff before the wind. A fire consumes the forest, as the flames set mountains ablaze. So may you pursue them with your tempest, and terrifying them with your hurricane. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek your name, O Lord. Let them be put to shame and dismay forever. Let them perish in disgrace, that they may know that you alone, whose name is the Lord, are the Most High over all the earth. Wow, that was very, 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 very difficult. I do apologise that some of those biblical names were mispronounced. So that is Psalm 83 complete. Tomorrow we will be doing Psalm 84. So that's the first half of the video complete. The second half I'll talk about when the psalm was written and about the psalm. Before we get into that little bit, I want to talk about the time periods of the psalms. So it's kind of, I would say it's in three sections. Two of them are linked together and the other one isn't. So the one that isn't are the time of the psalms that have a time period. Now, I do have to say, there are some psalms they've written during a time period, but that time period could be a couple hundred years. So they're not 100% sure on that particular point in time that psalm was written, but they know it was during this particular time period and it was over a couple hundred years. So they can't be 100% certain, and when I say they, that's scholars and historians. They can't be 100% certain on the exact time frame, but they can be like, well, it was written during this particular time, We don't know exactly when, but it's during 1 to 200 years time period. Now, that's a vast time period. I mean, very vast even. So it is a hard way to distinguish when a psalm is written. So even with a time period, it can be very hard to distinguish the exact point. Just want to make you aware of that one. The other two parts that are linked are those that have an unknown time period. So the first one would have event. So they obviously will not know when it was written, as in the time period. But they do know that there's an event linked to it. So it could have happened during a battle in Israel, for example. Could be during the Babylonians. Could be during King David's reign. Could be anything to do with King David, for example. It could be anything in fairness. It could just be a vast way of it. But they know it was that, but they don't know when exactly. They can't really go, that was pinpointed in, I don't know, 750 BC or 1015 BC. They might not know that as that, but they just know that event would have happened, just don't know when that event would have happened. That's how that would come in. There are those psalms that have no time period and no associated event linked to it, and it's very hard to know that at that point when that psalm is written. So that's the brief kind of overview of it. I wouldn't say brief, but definitely brief. So on the post-it note, it was written during the 9th and the 7th century, so that's definitely going to be a couple hundred years. Easily about at least about 300 years time period. So it was during those centuries. So it's definitely going to be harder to distinguish exactly when the psalm is written. And the psalm is about a prayer for God to punish Israel enemies and protect Israel. The psalm asks God to make the enemies suffer, die in disgrace, and recognise that God is the most powerful being. Now that sounds quite awful in itself. So the psalmist is basically wanting God to punish Israel's enemies and to protect Israel, which is fair enough. But then the psalm's asking God to make the enemies suffer and die in disgrace and recognise that God is the most powerful being. Now obviously God is the most powerful being, so that's obvious. But it's really horrible to think that the psalm is actually saying we don't like Israel's enemies and we want them all to suffer and die in disgrace. I mean, okay, that obviously would have happened in that time period. So obviously we've got to understand that looking at it from a modern day perspective, that's awful. But to looking at it from a biblical time, so obviously during the 9th and the 7th century, which is obviously over a couple 100-year period, that would have been a normal thing, you know, for people to want God to make their enemies to suffer. I mean, okay, we do sometimes think that. I don't know. I know I personally wouldn't go out and wish harm on anybody, but I know there are those out there that do, and they do wish their enemies to have a slow, painful death. As ridiculous as it sounds, but people do, and that is perfectly normal human response. You know, humans do respond in a way like that, and that is due to the fact that that is how humans are generally going to be like. You know, not everybody's going to be like that, and I will accept that. Not everybody is going to go out their way and want all their enemies to suffer. You know, sometimes you just have to kind of live and let go, sort of thing. So you just have to let go of the past and live for your future. And I say that, and then I could be doing it myself. But what I mean is, you just live your life, let go of what other people are thinking, what other people are doing, and just, yeah, live and let go. Just move on with your life and forget what your enemies have done to you. I mean, there's plenty of times when people have been a bit disgruntled with me, for example. I am kind of putting it into my perspective of things. When I give you these examples, they could be from my own personal experience with people, or it could be from other people that I know have experienced something similar. So I just want you to be aware that when I'm giving you these examples, they are based on my own personal experience or based on people that I know it's happened to. So I don't want you to think that I'm just, I don't know actually any of these experiences. I do, and that's why I'm giving you them, because I want you to know that this is the type of experience that could happen, an example that could happen, and then you can relate it to yourself to be able to understand it better. But yeah, no, I do know people who, have had really bad time with people, and quite frankly, wish death on them. I'm not saying they died and that, but it's quite a big thing to wish death on somebody. I will give you that. But you don't want your enemies obviously are out there to harm you, but at the same time, yes, okay, your enemies are out there to harm you, but do you really want them to be dead? Probably, depending on what they've done, to be fair, I guess. But yeah, so my own personal experience of things, I would like for God to punish some of the people that's caused me a lot of harm and distress, especially when I was a youngster. When I was a teenager, I was bullied quite badly for various different reasons. One of them was due to the fact that I struggle to read out loud. It's not that I can't read, I just struggle to read out loud, which is one of the other reasons why I'm doing these videos, is to help me to build confidence in myself to read loud and share it with you guys on a platform that is readily available to most people. And I don't know who's going to be watching my videos, but I just know people are watching them. That's the thing. I do know you are I know you who are watching it are watching these videos, so I know that I do struggle, and you probably sense that. But I don't show you myself on camera, and I struggle with saying certain words. I struggle, especially with biblical words. I struggle, but I've had people actually, when I was at school, college, be quite bad. But I wouldn't say I want to wish death on them. I mean, I just wish they left me alone. That's more than what I wanted. But obviously, with this psalm in particular, they want God, the psalmist wants God to basically punish those that cause them harm, and obviously cause Israel harm. I mean, in modern day Israel, now I'm not saying who's right, who's wrong, but in modern day Israel, there's a lot going on there, and people could probably be thinking, well, to be fair, it probably is Israel at fault. But then other people could say it's Hamas is at fault. As I said, I'm keeping out of that one. I don't actually, and quite frankly, right, I don't actually know what caused it, what's the problem going on out there. But I just know that there's that issue, conflict with Israel and Hamas. I do know that, but other than that, I don't actually know any more than that. And I do obviously have, I'm readily available to newspapers and stuff. And so I do get to read the newspapers, and I do understand that there is a lot more to it than meets the eye, but we just have to accept it as it is. And there's a ceasefire going on, whatever's going on now, I don't know. But it's happening. But in this time period, it was relatively normal for people to go and pray to God to punish the enemies of Israel, to protect Israel, because at the end of the day they want to protect Israel. And I guess we could all say that about any country that we live in. You know, I could say that about the United Kingdom. We just need to protect the United Kingdom, keep the enemies away. But then somebody in America could say the same thing about America. Oh, you know, we've got to protect America from its enemies. We've got to, you know, punish the enemies and protect the country. And you could say that about any country: Norway, Sweden, Finland. I'm probably just giving all the Scandinavian countries away. Germany, France, Spain, Portugal, all the African countries, all the Americans, like South Americans countries. You know, you name it. We could all say that. We could all say that we want to protect that particular country from the enemies, and you know, punish the enemies and protect the country. You know, it's a bit like what's going on with Ukraine and Russia now. Same again. I know it's a war going on, but I don't quite understand any more than that. Read newspapers. I do read the newspapers, but I just generally goes over my head. I have to admit, when it comes to conflict, a lot of the conflict goes over my head because I'm just generally taken aback and overwhelmed by just how much hatred's going on in the world, and why people have to hate people so much, and why people can't just go about their days normal. But we live in a time where it's like that. I'm so tired, I'm so sorry. It's early morning and I'm filming this. I hadn't long been I do film these quite soon after waking up, so I do apologise if I'm sounding tired, but it's a Saturday. I should really do these naps later in the day, but I like to keep to my schedule of 11 AM. So I like to get these videos early in the morning so I can get it scheduled for 11 o'clock, you know, for it to be ready for you guys for 11. So I do apologise if I sound tired. But back to what I was saying. You know, yeah, there is a lot of hatred going on in the world, and we could punish people and we could do everything we can to make people unhappy, but at the end of the day we all got to live with each other, live within, you know, live in the world, live on earth as, you know, the people that are supposed to be on earth. But it is what it is. But obviously, as I said, this psalm is about punishing Israel's enemies, and we can relate, as I said, we can relate that to anything, any country's enemies, and protect Israel. As I said, protect any country. And then the psalm asks God to make the enemies suffer, die in disgrace, and recognise that God is the most powerful being. Now, God, as I said, is the most powerful being, so at the end of the day, that's not even a thing to even need to consider to recognise. We just know that is what it is. So, yeah. So that is Psalm 83 complete. I do apologise that I was yawning. Very tired. It's been a long week. But we made it. We are at the weekend. So, we're on day 83. And we are on the 25th of January 25. And it's a Saturday. So tomorrow, which is Sunday, we will be doing Psalm 84. And yes, so thank you for watching. Please like my content, please subscribe to my channel, please turn on the notification bell so you get notified of content like this that gets uploaded to the channel. Thank you and goodbye.